Welcome everybody to today's weekly town hall meeting, February 25th, 2022. Thank you all for joining us. Today's agenda is projects and development updates, marketing updates, collaboration updates, and Q&A. Robinson, do you want to start us off with projects and development updates, please?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So, as usual, the list of projects and projects remains the same. And before beginning the updates on the projects, for the last few weeks, we have been uh, chasing this Bitcoin deposit demo on the mainnet. So unfortunately, this week also we're not able to do this. So the latest on this particular action item is that we are working on, excuse me. So we're working on the withdrawal screens fixes. So these fixes have come in, and this is undergoing extensive QA. And we have also identified some new edge cases. So this week also we won't be able to continue with this demo because the UI is not yet ready for the mainnet release. So that's on the one of the major items, which is the Bitcoin deposit demo. So let's go to the next slide. So here we've been talking about the various process improvements across the board. And we've made major improvements in terms of how we are tracking our uh, projects, rather tickets. So now we have managed to get everybody on board, and now we're tracking detailed tracking information for most of the issues. Now, the items which are pending right now are the log aggregation, which still needs work to be done, and on the official testnet environment, that is Irona testnet. Uh, we're again working on getting the Bitcoin Suns connected to it, but it looks like there are unknown challenges specific to Irona, which is preventing us from connecting to uh, Irona. So this means the Bitcoin Suns are not being recognized on Irona, but Shiva, who's working on this, he tried this under different other configurations, and there it is working. So this has to be something to do with server configuration or firewall settings or something like that. So, uh, so, so the next step for this would be to redeploy Irona on a different environment. So that's in progress. Now this is a extremely time consuming aspect because this needs setting up of multiple servers and the entire testnet. So we're making progress here, but we are not yet close to uh, getting a final completion on this. Yet another item that we have started looking into is now this item we talked about this briefly in the previous week as well, but we had some challenges with the slides. So this item was not present in the previous week's slide. So one of the items that we wanted to emphasize going forward is that we wanted to uh, bring in more frequent commits. These frequent commits will make sure that in case of any uh, unprecedented events, the workers already shared across the board. It's available in a common manner, and we will also be able to get much better transparency. So we're working on these aspects. Now let's go to the next slides where we'll talk about our usual projects. On the Dex UI, I have briefly mentioned this already. Our major focus is on the Bitcoin withdrawal screens. which includes numerous scenarios, and we are working on those items. So, and because of those other bug fixes, which is to be QA'd, that's kind of getting pushed out because of this one major item.
Mhm.
Uh, but at the same time, we do have various other bug fixes across the board, which is happening, which will be shared in the next slides. So, Kelly, let's go to the next slide.
I have a quick comment here, Bobinson. Currently, the Hive operations functionality has been tested on the mainnet, and it's working. But we still need to address the situations when SONs are not are down, not working properly. So in this case, of course, we should not do any Hive withdrawal. We should disable this operation. So we are working in this area right now of improvement of this Hive withdrawal. Generally speaking, it's working in normal condition, but we still need some improvement of that before we release to mainnet.
Okay, thank you. So, Kelly, let's go to the next slides. So, it's again the charts. We'll skip this because there's an obvious information here. Here is a detail about various improvements which is going on. We have quite a few bug. So this is more of a development update. So we have a few bug fixes and various items in review, etc. So let's go to the next slide. Our Gantt chart related status in self-explanatory. And let's move on to the next slide. Our historical progress over the weeks. So this week we have quite a few new bugs. I think 3 or 4 of them are from the Bitcoin withdrawal screens, and I think we will get a couple of new ones from the Hive-related screens as well, which is not yet uh, reported, if I'm correct. And we also have quite a few, very large number of them, in fact, in the review status. So I guess that's one item which we need to tackle and make sure that we are closing them and moving them into the next stage, which is the QA. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Next UI. Excuse me. So this is the improved Dex UI. Again, we don't have any screenshots or demo yet, but various screens are under progress, and we have also shown the burn down and burn up charge here. So sometime early next month, we will have the screens which we will deploy on a testnet and share. I believe uh, that will get that will give everybody more opportunity to explore and share feedback and get a feel about our new environment. Let's go to the next slide.
Bobinson, I have a comment
Yeah.
on
So,
on the
Henry,
previous slide.
if you have any comments on these 2 slides, you can please do so.
Yeah, so I have a comment on this slide. So basically, this burn up chart shows the number of complete tickets which has been approved, tested, and closed. Currently we have a bunch of the feature tickets that has been developed, and they're just waiting for review and testing. So in reality, we progressing fast. We have 36% of the work done, but we still need the reviews before we can set those tickets to completion. So that's why so slow progress on the diagram.
Okay, thank you. Kelly, can we go to the next slide? And Henry, do you have any inputs on this screen? This slide?
Okay, yeah. So currently we have 36% of completion. Yeah, and we will have to do some baseline and change the due date for this project. So realistically, we will need we'll need 1 more month at least to finish the next project.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Dexport. So this is the market maker, which is a kind of tested and ready for the general usage. Let's say I would say this is ready for general availability, and the pending item, the major pending item right now is that we're not yet able to build this for Windows. Mac and Linux is working fine as well as the CLI. But for the Windows GUI build, we are still working on it, and it's going to take a while because of the extensive amount of changes and dependencies which we have to fix. So that's on the export. Let's go to the next slide. So the burn down and burn up charts. So Henry, do you have any inputs on this particular chart slide?
Okay, so this slide shows our progress on the tickets. So we fixed all the major issues for the export, and it's ready for beta release, which is a release to mainnet, to the production environment, so that the users will be able to test it themselves and provide their feedback. So we are currently doing smoke testing before we release into the production, before we doing beta release. So, it's should be done today.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to the next slide, Kali.
Yeah.
I'll pause here for a moment so that this screen is visible for the video. And so, Kelly, let's move on to the next slide. The blockchain updates. Here we are continuing to fix fix or rather improve various pending items, our automation testing, and we are also trying to upgrade our OS support to Ubuntu 2004. So this migration is also undergoing. In addition to these items that we have listed here, it, as I had previously hinted while talking about the text UI, we also have new scenarios of concern with respect to Bitcoin and Hive Suns. Because so what's happening here is that now it's possible to run multiple Bitcoin or Hive Suns in a using the same configuration file. That means it's actually possible for somebody to run more than one node and even all of them. This means all of them can go down at the same time. So this scenario was something that we were aware of from earlier, but we never anticipated this particular um, situation of having all of them on the same node and all of them going down simultaneously. But it looks like there is a huge positive, huge chance of that being happening. So we will have to investigate and come up with a way to address this scenario as well. So because what's happening right now is that if all the sun nodes are down or terminated or disconnected, let's say some sort of a split brain scenario happens. Now what's happening is the funds, there is a high probability that the funds will get stuck in a multi-sig account on the Peerplays blockchain. So we will mostly have to come up with a solution for this. Obviously, after confirming this further. So right now, this has come up during the Dex UI testing. So that's one major item we will have to investigate, and if it is something that we can reproduce, we may have to make some changes to the Sun code base for both Hive and Bitcoin. So that's going to be little. It's going to take a while because we will mostly have to come up with a manual mechanism. That's another major update in addition to all the ongoing improvements that we're working on. So let's go to the next slide. So we have the burn up the charts which are looking pretty nice. Let's go to the next slide. Again, we'll pause here for a moment for the video. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So the overall progress, this looks pretty steady, even though we have the number of bugs fixed as it's increased over the last 1 week or so. And I think we also have a couple of new bugs which I had created a while ago, which is not reported here. But overall, this looks like a good progress. Okay, let's go to the next slide. JS library. So we have the vulnerability fixes that we have resumed these vulnerability fixes. 6 or 7 outstanding issues are there, and in addition to that, we also have a couple of features being worked upon, which is related to the text integration. That's on the JS library. Let's go to the next slide. Express.js. So on the Express.js, we're currently working on this for last 1.5 months, and so the current, apart from what is mentioned in the slide, the current status is that we have a minimal UI which is based on Express card, and Pair ID is used for the sign up. It's working quite well, even though it has its nuisances. And we're trying to set up a demo for the mainnet so that we can have an ongoing demo. And parallelly, we are also working on bringing in a lot of fixes from Express card, which has happened over a period of last 6 to 8 months, and various documentations are being created for the requirements and functional specs and all those. That's in progress. And from the DevOps front, we are trying to bring in a review environment which will help our MR review process, merge request review process. And on the UX front, we're just beginning to start creating new UI design. So currently, the UI that we're using is it's pretty basic, and it's based on the Express card. So now we'll be engaging Kritika on this because and we'll be coming up with a clean and elegant UI, which will have the same design aesthetics as that of the next project. So that's a overall updates here. So the real development would happen a little later, and once we have all the documents ready. So we also have the charge here. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so that's all from the development team. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Robinson. Michael, do you want to start us off with marketing updates, please?
Sure thing, Kelly. Thank you. This week in the marketing side of things, we've had an ongoing organizing and posting of content for the news and article section on peerplays.com with SEO optimization included in that. The news and article section is actually coming along nicely. We have several articles posted and a schedule for posting the remainder of them so that the information is there. It's going to serve as a education resource and an information resource on things that are happening with Peerplays. And as it's indexed in Google and all the other major search engines, it will become more visible, and people searching for information on those things will actually be able to see us as well. Sal has been doing a lot of work with respect to getting the SEO set up for that. The forums are also being set up to foster discussion within the Peerplays website itself. As we begin to grow the community, there's just a couple things we need to fix with respect to the sign up process and the welcome email and all of that, which should probably be fixed and sorted out by early next week, and that will kind of start going in earnest and going forward with that. Community outreach survey update. We sent an email out to all our subscribers to get more participation. Participation is actually pretty good right now, but we still want more. New communications are planned for next week for a final push to have more responses. We will be closing it on Friday next week, and then all the information will be tabulated and presented at a later town hall in March. And we'll be able to use that as kind of a guide for us to see where people think that we should be going, and what they'd like to see more from us and what they'd like to see less of from us. So if anybody on the call has not filled it out, please go to the link for the Google forum. It's been posted in a bunch of places to fill it out. So the more information that we get from people from the community at large, the better the survey results are going to be. So we've also continued to do research into the appropriate players we'd want to be involved in the blockchain space to collaborate with us for more reach of our message, and to help with them amplifying their messages on things that we're aligned on. And I will hopefully be able to start to act on that in the next week or two. I'm just waiting for Vlad to give me some more information on what he's come up with and who he's contacted and reached out to. And I've continued an ongoing evaluation of the tools and resources for a better workflow. I was off for several days and just was getting back into that, and that should be completed in the next week or so, and being able to kind of talk to the team on what things that they would like to see and would like to use based on what I've looked at so far. If you want to go on to the next slide, Kelly, I'll talk about the performance a little bit in place of Salah today. The followers and subscribers for Facebook and Twitter are a little bit down, but we weren't overly active using those platforms too much. We do have a strategy and plan in place, and as you can see, the posts and the videos for those two are actually up. So we are anticipating that there will be an increase as we start to execute the strategy that we've been working on with respect to the social media posts and what we're going to be doing. LinkedIn and Instagram, the followers and subscribers are up, and the engagement's actually up on Instagram as well, which is really good. And Instagram's been very good for us. We're also going to be bringing more videos and stuff into TikTok as well to get that reach. It can be a very important tool to get your message out and stuff. So we're going to try to utilize that a little bit more. And if you want to go to the next page, Kelly, the SEO stats for peerplays.com, as you can see, the total clicks basically held steady for the course of the week with a bit of a dip in the middle. But the fact that it stayed steady is pretty decent, as everything gets indexed, as I mentioned, which can take up to 3 weeks for it to be fully and properly indexed by the search engines. We would expect to see these numbers starting to increase because people starting to search for information on NFTs or how basically what the articles are. There's a lot of articles that are on peerplays.com in terms of the information, the education side of things. And as that information gets indexed, and people start visiting, our numbers will increase as well. On here, you can see just the generic Peerplays is just the #1 search thing. And it's been, the impressions are 58. So we're appearing, we're starting to increase in these things, and we're getting some of the clicks to our site going from there. So it's all generally positive news in terms of the SEO, and as the site gets indexed and laid out completely, and the new features are added into it, the new information is added to it, it will only get better going forward. And that is the marketing update.
Thank you very much, Michael. Jonathan, collaborations update.
Thank you, Kelly. Unfortunately, due to scheduling conflicts and whatnot, I was never able to connect with any of the collaborations that are ongoing with Peerplays right now. Of course, this doesn't mean they're not happening, but yeah, unfortunately, this past week alone, there wasn't any specific updates in relation to collaborations, but I'm sure there will be more next week. That's all I got for now.
Thank you very much. And on to questions, comments, thoughts. Anybody? Okay, so that ends today's meeting. Thank you everybody for coming to today's town hall meeting on February 25th, 2022, and we will see you next Friday. Thank you.